Welcome to my channel where Karen takes on an entire police force. Our next Reddit post is from Old Town. So my 7-year-old son was invited over by his friend to attend his birthday party. It's at some guy's house who lives on our block, but I didn't know him. When we got there were about 8 kids and 2 adults. One adult was the dad of the birthday boy and the other was a woman who I guess was her mother or grandmother. She seemed nice enough and I engaged in conversation while the kids went off to play. This was around 3 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon. About 45 minutes into the party, the front door opens up and a cop comes in and asks for whoever was responsible for the loud music to turn it down. The music was coming from the basement. There was no TV on and they only had some Pandora station playing at a normal volume. I told the cop that I was the one who turned it up because I thought it was too quiet and he should talk to me, not them. He left and I forgot about it. Then maybe 20 minutes later, the same cop comes back in with another cop. They begin asking questions like how many people are staying here tonight? Do you all plan on having a party tonight? I explained that this was a small kid's birthday party and that they were all going home after 6 p.m. Then they started asking if anyone here owned a firearm. I said no and the cops left. Maybe 10 minutes later, the cops come back again and ask to speak to everyone individually. We refused and they threatened to arrest us for obstructing justice or something like that. That's when things got weird. The woman who I assumed was the mom starts berating the cops. She calls them racist pigs and tells them that they can't talk to the kids alone. And then she starts telling the kids that the cops are trying to arrest them and that I was a drug dealer. I get really pissed at this point. I start yelling at her to stop saying those kinds of things in front of the kids. She then turns to me and starts yelling about how I am a terrible father and I need to support her son who is traumatized by these cops. I tell her that her behavior is completely unacceptable and that she needs to calm down. She tells me that I need to mind my own business because this is between her and the cops. I then reach out to grab my son so we can leave, but she grabs my arm and says that we are not leaving until the cops leave. I pull away from her and grab my son and we leave. The dad says sorry about his wife and we leave. I call my wife and tell her that we are leaving early. She tells me to just deal with it and that she will be home soon. The dad says that his wife has been having problems with the cops lately and they always target his house. I tell him that she shouldn't have included the kids and twisted things to make them sound racist. He says that he will take care of it and thanks me for understanding. When I get home, my wife asks what happened and I fill her in. She then proceeds to rage at me because I should have called the cops back and told them that she was home, instead of listening to me explain that the cops were already there before we even left the house. She starts berating me about how I am a coward and that I should have stood up to those racist pigs or her. I tell her that I don't want to argue about it and that she should just relax. She then calls me a liar and says that I'm just making excuses. She gets ready to go out again. While she's getting ready, I tell her to forget it. I'll drive her. She gets in the car and we leave. On the way, I try to explain again that the cops were already there when we left. She cuts me off and says that I'm trying to justify myself. I tell her that I just wanted to make her feel better because she looked upset when she came home. She then tells me to shut up and drives off. She gets there and proceeds to scream at the top of her lungs for anyone to hear. That's when I lose it. I start yelling back at her, telling her that she is being ridiculous. All the neighbors start coming outside to see what the commotion is and I continue yelling at her. She then gets in her car and speeds off. So I've had it with both of these women. I am furious at the way they acted. If the cops were treating the kids wrong, then fine. Call them out, call other cops, call their bosses, file a complaint, whatever. But doing it the way they did just made them look bad and it made me furious. As for the man, I gotta say that you are definitely in the wrong relationship. You know, when your spouse doesn't defend you or at least try to understand your side of the story and instead just jumps to the conclusion that you're lying, then that's not good. Our next reader post is from someone called Kevin. So my apartment complex has a strict no smoking policy, which is fine by me. As a non-smoker, I walk everywhere near the property. About 3 weeks ago, I saw someone smoking right outside the main entrance. I didn't think much of it. Then yesterday, I walked past the same person smoking in the exact same spot. I told him that he wasn't supposed to smoke there. He just smiled and said that he would. I still pointed out that it was against the rules, and he said that he didn't care. He continued to smoke and started talking to me about how awful the property manager is, blah, blah, blah. I just ignored him and kept walking. About 30 minutes later, I came back the same way and he was still there finishing his cigarette. I told him that he had 30 seconds to put that cigarette out and move or I was calling the cops. He laughed and said that he would wait. I walked past him and called the cops. Within 3 minutes, 2 cops showed up and they told me that he was cited and warned. I felt justified, but I couldn't help but laugh at the fact that the cops said that he had a lot of nerve. Well, karma came back around a few hours later when I came back the same way and I saw the guy sitting there on a chair drinking a beer. Yes, he was suspended. Our next Reddit post is from Jaded Volcano. I do a lot of charity work and recently we had a successful fundraising event. Afterwards, I posted on social media thanking everyone who donated and also mentioned that I was thankful for all the positive comments. One of my nosy neighbors commented saying, "I bet you're glad you got all that money and now you won't have to pay your HOA fees." Now, I live in a community that does not have an HOA, so I was confused. I messaged her and asked if she was sure because I don't pay any HOA fees. She replied saying that she knew that I did because all the houses on my street do. Again, I don't live on a street with an HOA. I paid for my house in cash without financing. It was previously foreclosed upon and I fixed it up myself. I checked with my title company and I own my house free and clear. I posted on my local Buy Nothing group and several people mentioned her name and confirmed that she is a Karen who causes trouble in the neighborhood. I decided to give her a hard time. I asked her if she knows who I am and she proudly replied saying that she knows who I am and that she is not afraid of me. I told her that I wasn't threatening her, but I did warn her that I will report her to the HOA for slandering me. She told me to go ahead because she doesn't care. I am thinking about printing up some yard signs that say "HOA sucks" and hanging them on my lawn just to piss her off. That was HOA Stories Hub. And if you like this content, check out my Patreon where I publish extra episodes. Also hit that subscribe button because I put out new videos every single day.